The Avalanche just made a massive signing, and it changes everything for their offseason as they have already gotten to work. After a disappointing first round exit, Brock Nelson is here to stay. He has signed for 3 years at 7.5 AAV. What is up, everyone? This is Avalanche Digest. This is your number one source for all of your Avs news. And because we're so awesome, I just want to point out that 67.5 of you guys are actually not subscribed, and you absolutely want to be subscribed because we always update you with all of the latest news. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button into the ground and let's get right to it. This is probably the first bit of actual positive news other than speculation that the Avs have had since their first round exit, and that's that Brock Nelson is here to stay. He has signed a contract extension for 3 whole years at $7.5 million apiece. It is so great to see Big Brock Nelson back. If you guys know the nickname, you know I can't say it, but he is absolutely here to stay, and that is so awesome to see. He actually went on to say, courtesy of David Pagnotta, that Nelson actually had a quote on staying with the Avs, and that's his family and I are excited to be staying in Colorado. We've heard this a lot with other teammates, with other guys. We saw this with Jonathan Drouin. We saw this with ex-Avs that have all moved to Colorado for long stretches of time. They love it here when they come. So, having spent my entire career with one organization, we weren't totally sure what we expected when we arrived in Denver. But he said that after playing with the Avs and after finding the group and the teammates, he wanted to stay. And that is just so amazing. Remember, Devon Toews and Brock Nelson actually have a bit of a friendship with each other. Brock Nelson actually mentored Devon Toews back in the day when Toews was just coming into the league. So now it's great to see those two reunited again. And really, now you're looking at the Avs' entire situation and you're realizing that they're set. They have their second line center. Their top 6 is done. Their goaltending is done. Their top pairing, done. So really, all the Avs are now able to do is pretty much focus on the rest of their roster. AJ Heffley, who was part of DNVR, which is actually the graphic I referenced earlier, pretty much also says this too. They can get to work on their offseason now that the second line center question, hopefully, is answered. And you really see that with that 7.5 number, that's not really an overpay because he was projected to be at $7 million per year. So it's only about $500,000 more. I know, basically chump change. $500,000. What is that? What is that? Nothing? Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this basically confirms that we have some major roster surgery on the way. And when you look at this roster, I mean, this center depth is awesome. I would book it that Charlie Coyle is not to return to this lineup. I would also say the same for Jonathan Drouin. Jonathan Drouin is projected to make about $5 million, not a contract you want to sign when you have a lot of expensive questions. And especially with the power play now, I'm going to give you guys a test, a riddle even. Do you let's say that you're trying to score on a big 6'4" goaltender. We'll make up a name. We'll say his name is Jake Ottinger. And you're having trouble getting pucks on net. So maybe the best option is to screen the goalie. Who would you use to screen the goalie? You have options of A, your returning captain, Gabe Landeskog, big 6'4" Valerie Nichushkin, or one of the best bumper players in the league year after year, Brock Nelson. Or do you say none of the above, put in Arturi Lehkonen? Well, if you're Ray Bennett, the former power play coach of the Avalanche, you put in Arturi Lehkonen and you don't have a job later in the season. And this is exactly what happened. Now, I'm definitely interested to see what the Avalanche do with the power play. Are they going to put Brock Nelson in the bumper spot? I would think so. The power play is definitely going to have a new look. It cannot remain the same. They're definitely going to be trying a lot more things, and Brock Nelson is an amazing bumper player. So we could potentially see a lot of roles with that. Now, getting into the cap situation as to what this means, Puckpedia coming in clutch with the updated cap. The forward side really isn't that bad. You're looking at 3 UFAs heading into the season, and that's Jimmy Vesey, who I would like to see return. Probably won't make a lot of money, and he's a good defensive bottom line player. Jonathan Drouin, who I mentioned, unfortunately probably won't stay unless he takes another sweetheart deal, and Yoel Kiviranta. Kiviranta is also another one that if he's asking for more than a 1.5 million, there's no way you sign that guy. So the forward side is relatively safe. I mean, you've got basically a third line figured out. You've got Charlie Coyle, you've got Ross Colton. Your third line is almost done. The fourth line is basically done. You've got Logan O'Connor signed up long term. You've got Jack Drury. Really, there's only like 2 wingers in there that you're asking, okay, what is their fate? But then we get to the defense. And when you ask me how much cap space is remaining, it's 1.2. Not a lot when you look at this defense. You look, they have obviously Eric Johnson, who probably is going to retire. You have Ryan Lindgren, who also needs to be re-signed, and there is no way you can bring him back for $4 million apiece. No way. He is not worth that. And honestly, I wasn't overly impressed with Ryan Lindgren, so it's someone that the Avs could definitely move on from. I'm also looking at a guy like Sam Malinski. Sam Malinski is a restricted free agent. That means you just have to qualifying offer his salary. And because Sam Malinski is a very important player to the Colorado Avalanche because he is a cheap option, plays good defense. His defensive numbers were awesome this year, actually, and his offensive numbers towards the end started to get really good. So Sam Malinski is a cheap option to fill a role for like $1.5, $1.8 million. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but that's your option for your defense. So that's going to be an incredibly interesting prospect to have a guy like Sam Malinski. As it goes on, but that's the thing. They only have 1.2 in cap space. So they have to make some major surgery. I've talked about in previous videos, most likely Josh Manson is out of here, and you might re-sign a Ryan Lindgren to do that instead, to kind of be a cheaper version of Josh Manson. Or you could move out a guy like Sam Girard and really start cap crunching on your defense. It seems like, looking at the Avalanche lineup, something that I have come to realize is the Avs' biggest mistake after the Cup run was not signing Nazem Kadri to a 7-year deal for $7 million. The Avs have quite literally rectified that mistake by signing Brock Nelson to almost the exact same salary. I'm sure if the Avs had to do it over again, they would have rather signed Nazem Kadri than Brock Nelson. But actually, funny enough, Nelson is younger than Kadri, so maybe this was the master plan all along. However, this basically confirms that the Avalanche have now moved away from let's have a really expensive defense and we'll play a lot of our offense through our defense. Now they've realized, well, in that Stanley Cup run, our defense was deep, it was dangerous, it was horrifying. But our defense actually took a lot of hits. You had Jack Johnson and Eric Johnson playing in the lineup. Sam Girard was injured. And Manson wasn't making nearly as much money as he is now. That $5 million Sam Girard, like I said, wasn't there. So the defense, in its current form, wasn't even the reason why they won the Cup. And yet the Avs chose to sign those guys to big money. And that, honestly, with all the last 3 years post-Cup, was a mistake. And they have rectified that mistake right here with this new and improved lineup. Look at the center depth. Look at basically the entire top 6. Look at that second line. And speaking of that second line, it was actually one of the best in the playoffs in such a short sample size. It was awesome. The second Gabe Landeskog joined that second line, you had the shortest player on that lineup was Landeskog at 6'1". Everyone else was big, meaty wall of a forechecking line, and they were just tearing up the opposition. So absolutely give me that all regular season long. And really, when you're looking at come March, all you're saying is, oh, well, we need to fix our bottom 6 and maybe trim the edges of our defense. Perfect. I am absolutely here for it. I cannot wait for this season to begin now. This has been Avalanche Digest. Love ya, Avs Nation. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one.